Welcome to Shi Anime Podcast, where four online friends who watch way too much anime come together and talk about it. Now, we will be talking about shows that contain mature content, such as Attack on Titan or Wonder Egg Priority, that come with a multitude of trigger warnings. So, if that's not for you, that's totally fine. We are also not a spoiler-free podcast, so this is your warning to turn back now if you haven't watched shows from the latest season and plan to in the future. And of course, come back to us when you have. But if you're sticking around, please enjoy. Hey everyone, what's up? We are Shi Anime Podcast, and today we're talking about what we've been watching this winter 2021 anime season and the ups and downs that have come with it. I'm Shay, and I started watching anime when I was young, with your typical Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, all that good stuff. Then I stopped for a while when things got busy in high school and college, but then 2021 and the pandemic happened, and then I fell in love with anime all over again. So that's where I'm at. I'm probably around 50, 60 shows in just 2020 alone. So that's me, and that's what qualifies me to talk about anime on this podcast. So here with me today, I have Keto, Kenzie, and Kat. So, Keto, why don't you tell us what qualifies you to talk about anime?
Hey guys, I'm Keto. What qualifies me? It's just a fun kind of topic. But no, I've been watching anime for over 20 years. I've been watching anime since before I knew what anime was. Saturday morning cartoons, throw it back to watching like the Pokemon and Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh, not knowing what the four kids adaptations of everything. By the time I figured out it was actually anime, it was a type of animation style to follow. I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network when I was 10. Things you shouldn't have been doing, but it created a love relationship. I've watched anime pretty much solidly throughout the time. Dipped off a little bit when start dabbling in other things. But I'm your old school girl, so like I feel like I never know the new stuff, and I feel so bad about it. But I'm trying to keep up, just to keep it going. I love anime conventions. I've been going to those for a decade. I even do panels at them when I do go. So I'm really well versed in re-explaining things about anime to people. So I figured, podcast just trades right over, right? uh, but Kenzie, it's on you.
Hi, I'm Kenzie. I'm the baby anime watcher of the group, which I just realized today. um, so I so I started watching anime in high school, and I did it secretly because my parents did not understand it, and they still don't. They've kind of just accepted that this is what their daughter is obsessed with. And I became hooked immediately. I think my first anime was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was a really good way to start. And I was hooked immediately, and I started just consuming more and more content, and manga and anything I could get my hands on. And I'm qualified because I did dabble in film studies and like literature, like reviewing literature and things like that. And it actually comes in handy when you're watching anime. There's so many like hidden scenes or hidden meanings with lighting and the way the camera is positioned or the shot is positioned, and the writing and the dialogue and how the characters are even like color coded. I'm your girl. I'll tell you everything I know. And I just want a place to talk about anime. So I'm so excited about this. I'm also a cosplayer. I cosplay from MHA, Bungo Stray Dogs, Haikyuu, Jujutsu Kaisen, and I have a cosplay list that just keeps growing.
Don't we all?
Yeah, don't we all?
But Kat, why are you qualified?
Okay, so I'm Kat, and I have been an anime blogger and a K-pop blogger because you don't go to my blog without getting one or the other. I've been doing that since 2013. I've been, I've dabbled in anime and manga basically like my entire life. I didn't hardcore get into anything until like the late 2000s, but I have watched a lot of anime. I've talked about a lot of anime over the years. I've watched over 300 anime. So I think that qualifies me right there.
Your list is impressive.
It's kind of scary. I, dabble in cosplay as well, but not as hardcore as my co-hosts. And obviously, like Keto, I've always loved going to conventions and hosting panels, and this is just the perfect transition to go forward with all of this podcast stuff. Now, since we've introduced everybody, let's get into the main topic of this podcast, which is the 2021 winter anime season, which was crazy.
Insane.
It was
Phenomenal.
packed with
Would've
so much. And obviously, we've all been keeping up with the exception of maybe one of us.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I will catch up. Hey, I watched episode 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. I did.
Oh my God, yeah!
Hey, we're there.
The
Yes.
season's about to end, so I was like, I can do it
Hey, now you can
Yes.
binge it all.
You can
Yeah.
binge it all right
No,
through.
y'all, I'm actually a little mad at myself. It's absolutely fantastic. And I just watched exactly one episode. So you will be hearing me scream about that next.
Thank you.
Perfect. We love it. So obviously the big 3 anime of the season were Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, and Skate. They are huge anime. They're always talking about them. Like Skate is trending right now because we're recording this on Saturday when Skate's episode just dropped. It's trending worldwide on Twitter right now. So
Skate broke the
Is
internet.
it really?
Skate
Yes.
broke the
Oh,
internet.
Skate the Infinity was such a sleeper hit. No one
Mhm.
expected it to be. Everyone like when
We did.
I know we predicted
I mean,
it. We
I
predicted
can't
it.
say anything.
but
I binged it in
You know what? No one else did, especially when the
days.
trailer came out. Everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, it's just another sports anime. It's about
Sports?
skateboarding. That looks kind of cool. Like the animation looks cool." And now like we're at the maybe like the new age Yuri on Ice, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Guilt.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into those bigger anime at later episodes because they are so big and so full of information, and we definitely want to go as deep and hard as we can into these series because they are so just beautiful. And then now let's talk about some of the other winter 2021. I was like, what year is it?
Honestly, if you ask me, it's still 2019. Like
I know.
we're like still
Okay,
going
skip.
through it.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm like, I was saying something the other day where I was like, oh yeah, this happened, just the other day. And then I would look at it and I was like, this happened 2 years ago.
Right?
I mean, the other day is anywhere between 10 minutes and 10 years.
10 years.
True.
Right. So let's go ahead and talk about the first anime of the winter season. Shay, let's take it away.
All right. So I obviously have been watching, our self-entitled big 3 of the winter 2021 season. I watched JJK, Attack on Titan, which finishes up tomorrow as we're recording this today on Saturday, and Skate the Infinity, which finishes up next week. So that'll be exciting. But other than that, I've been trying to soak up as much winter 2021 anime as possible, but there have been a lot that I have started and then dropped, and we'll talk about that later. But ones I've, kind of kept up with have been like Heaven's Design Team. So I don't think any of the 3 of you have watched this yet.
Nope.
So I'll give a quick summary. Is Heaven's Design Team is basically God has created this council to create animals for him. So God will send he'll be like, I need an animal that can swim underwater but also walk on land. And so it is this council's job to figure out how to construct an animal and design this animal that can do all the things that God wants it to. And they also have like not a council, but like the people who physically build the animals. And it's also really fun because there's one of the council members, he is famous for making the horse. That is what he's famous for making. So every time God is like, hey, I want an animal that flies, this guy is like, I'm gonna slap some wings on this horse. And since the horse was such a great invention, I'm gonna slap some wings on it. And then the people build it and they're like, here's how this won't work. It's because the horse is too dense and very much too heavy and its bones are not hollow. So if it tries to fly, it will fall. and it will die. And and so it gives a lot of like excuses to why, you know, like unicorns don't exist and Pegasi don't exist and stuff like that. And it's just really fun and super wholesome. Like there's no issues. Like it the only issue is them arguing over whose design is the best and fits the criteria. And there's a head angel in charge of it. He's like the messenger from God and the council. And you'll know when an animal gets approved because he's like God has spoken and like like that's how you know. But I've been enjoying watching like episodes because I like don't watch it every week, but like I'll watch a couple episodes here and there because it's just nice and wholesome, especially after you get off like, you know, what we had with Attack on Titan last week with 2 episodes in a row. And you're feeling heavy, go watch Heaven's Design Team. But if you're looking for a wholesome, you know, you don't have to binge it. It's very episodic. Like each episode has its own subject matter, so there's no through line and big storyline, so it's just nice little blurbs to watch every once in a while. And so the next one I watched, I actually found on accident, was Skate Leading Stars. I was looking at all of the 2021 anime that was on Funimation, and Skate Leading Stars came up, and it looked like a bunch of figure skaters, and I was like, Yuri on Ice? But it was actually Skate Leading Stars. And I was like, okay, so my personal goal is to watch all the sports anime that's ever existed.
It's a good goal. It's a good goal.
And so I was like, okay, this is a new sports anime. Obviously, we're all focused on skate right now, but let's watch Skate Leading Stars, which, if we don't know what skate leading is, it's basically team figure skating. There's 5 people on the team. And it follows the basic sports anime trope of this kid really liked to figure skate. He was a solo figure skater, but then something traumatic happened and he had to stop. And then he comes to high school and figures out there's a skate leading club, but he's this solo figure skater. And how could he ever figure skate on a team? And how could he learn to be a team
Isn't
player?
that always how it goes?
Yes, exactly. So it's very typical. I've been watching it just so I could say I've watched it all for this podcast, but to be honest, I probably would have dropped it along with like 2.43 and Wave. I'll pick those up later at some point, I'm sure, but it's just your typical like sports anime. I'm impressed that they've dubbed 2 episodes of it so far, because I know they're like kind of picky on what they're dubbing, and they decided to dub this one too. But that's really all there is to it. It's about a boy and he needs to learn how to play on a team. and and that's it. But there are a lot of pretty character designs, lots of pretty anime boys, and it's and okay, so I was expecting Yuri on Ice level animation, and I probably shouldn't have set that bar so high. I'm not sure which studio, I'll have to look it up. I'm not sure which studio did Skate Leading Stars, and it was all right. It just wasn't like, you know, Yuri on Ice figure skating level, which I was trying not to compare it because there are a couple anime that like from this season that were like, everyone was like 2.43. We shouldn't compare it to Haikyuu. And I was like, okay, Skate Leading Stars figure skating, same as Yuri on Ice figure skating, but I'm trying not to compare it. But it's just hard not to when the Yuri on Ice animation is so beautiful. But those are 2 that I've kept up with, along with, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, and Skate the Infinity. But now I'm going to pass it on to Kenzie because she's been watching some interesting ones as well.
Yes, it took me so long to get into anything that wasn't the big 3. And I think they set the bar so high that I was just getting so easily disappointed when I started anything that was even in the realm of the winter season. Um, so we'll talk about the ones we've dropped or we're disappointed with a little later. I kept trying to like, this is the anime I'm gonna, you know, watch for this season. That's not the big 3. And I kept texting in our group chat like, no, guys, it's not the one. I can't watch it.
You were going through it.
I was really going through it. Okay, but I finally found it. I found the one. And it's Dr. Ramune, Mysterious Disease Specialist. Hear me out. It's definitely an anime you watch when you want to laugh. It has no like, and look, I love the sad, dark anime. I love that. I love the conflict. I love the angst. But this is the one you watch after you watch those. Like you just finished Attack on Titan, like Shay said, and you need something to laugh, and that's just ridiculous. This is it. So there's a doctor and his apprentice They have Gojo Megumi vibes from Jujutsu Kaisen. If you've watched and seen their their relationship, one's ridiculous and like, hello, I'm amazing. And the other one's like, I hate you, but I have to be around you.
I love that so much.
I love it. And so it's also, the anime is kind of similar to like Jujutsu Kaisen in the sense that everyone, if you like do something bad, like one guy is cheating on all these girls, then something's going to happen to your body. And that's like the manifestation of the mysterious, like you get inflicted with the mysterious disease because you're not being true to yourself or you're not being honest with people. So it's kind of like the same thing as cursed energy, except it's ridiculous because everything that manifests in your body, it's like a food. There's one girl that like cries tears of soy sauce and ketchup and mayonnaise.
Oh my god. I love that.
One person's ears turns into pot stickers. Like this is
All right,
the anime.
I know what I'm binging next week.
I know, right?
It's so easy to binge.
Move it on the list.
Screw everything else. I'm gonna watch this next.
We need a whole episode on it just to talk about the ridiculousness. And there's been moments where I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna reveal something like super dark, and this is gonna be like the moment of that the anime really takes off. No, it's always something ridiculous that happens. But it's really fun, and the opening is so upbeat, and you can really just like dance around to it. So I highly recommend it. I finally found the anime that'll get me through the winter season besides those big three.
That's amazing. I love that so much.
But Kat, what are you watching?
Oh boy. Outside of the big three, I've definitely taken on some pretty interesting ones. One that has some interesting animation styling that is and then one that is very traumatic. So let's talk animation first. So Project Scarred is an anime that I picked up purely because of who is creating it. It is by Go Hands and Frontier Works, who had done the K Project series a few years back, and it's one of my favorite anime of all time. So I had high hopes going into this. You can tell that it was made during the pandemic because it's kind of like 3D-esque, but with like realistic backgrounds. Like, so if you've ever played like the like Otome games where they have like the realistic backgrounds and then they just like slap an anime character onto it. That's what this is like. The storyline is great, the acting is great, the songs are great, just everything about it is great except for the animation. Like they tried to take the beauty of what K Project was and make a secondary kind of series because it's all the same, concepts and stuff like that, but it just missed the mark. I'm still watching it, but it just really it missed the mark, and I absolutely love it. It's about these people that have what are called scards, which are like tattoos on their hands, and they give them powers and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that if you're interested in it and are willing to look past the animation. Like I just literally there's one scene where the characters are walking and the background isn't moving.
Oh,
like the characters are doing like the walking like motion and the background's just still. Like they're still standing in front of the same building.
I give you credit for continuing.
I
love the story so much, and like I love the actors and all of that stuff, and I'm like the animation isn't always bad. It's just there's enough of it being bad that it's just like So I'm gonna stick through it to the end and see if I actually like it. Now the fun one, and Shay's watched this one with me. Shay's actually watched more of this show than I have.
It's because I feel a moral responsibility to watch ahead and then give you the trigger warnings that this show does not give you. So to our listeners, huge trigger warnings if you have not watched Wonder Egg Priority and you are
trigger warning and like spoiler warnings.
Rape, suicide, sexual abuse, any of that, turn back now or go ahead like maybe 5 minutes.
Podcast for sure. Skip ahead if you don't want to listen to any of this. So Wonder Egg Priority is very misleading when you look at it. The poster is so pretty and colorful, the animation's beautiful, the opening credit is cheerful, and then you get into it. It's a psychological horror that deals with trauma, all sorts of trauma, mental trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma, and like you get to see all of this trauma happen. And it's just, I literally am only like 4 or 5 episodes into it. Shay is farther than me because I have to take breaks to watch this show. It is not a binge worthy show. Like, it's very beautifully done though. Very beautifully done. It's definitely a magical realism piece, meaning that it deals with real world you know, kinds of concepts such as rape and abuse and death and suicide and all of this kinds of stuff, and adds like a magical twist onto it because the 4 main characters are all having to use these eggs called wonder eggs to go back and kind of save the people that basically had all of these traumas happen, like the people that committed suicide, the people that have, you know, done all of this stuff and have suffered, and, you know, try to help save them. And it's a lot. It is so freaking heavy, and yeah, serious trigger warnings going into it because you don't get any warning at all. It happens, like it happened within like the, like you get like attacked basically like within the first 5 minutes of the first episode. And it's just, it's a lot, and it's a very, very heavy show, and like I definitely recommend watching it
It's beautiful.
because it is
it's
a
really
very
good.
beautiful show, but you have to be in the right mental headspace. So if you don't feel like you could handle any of that, I would not recommend watching it.
Watch
Not on
it
my list.
weekly. Watch it once at
Oh my gosh.
one episode
Once
at
a month.
time. Yeah,
I
like-
know.
Once a month sounds good.
I
But-
know. I'm like, it's been a couple, like it's been a couple of weeks in between me watching each, you know, episode because it's just, it's too much for me to.
I have to say, I saw a clip on TikTok and I had heard you guys talk about how triggering it was. And I was like, well, I mean, like, I usually don't, not that I don't mind, but I like the sad, angsty content. So I was like, I'm probably going to watch it. I saw a clip on TikTok and I was like, they were not joking. This is intense. And I agree. Maybe once every 2 weeks, I'm going to catch an episode. 'Cause
I'm
wow.
the exact same, Kenzie. I literally was like, okay, sure, triggering, whatever. And I saw a TikTok and I was like, oh, oh, that's a lot.
That's a bit much there.
Yeah, I'm usually, I'm the same as you, Kenzie. I, watch angsty content, trigger warnings. I usually watch them and I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. But like some of these later episodes that you're about to get into, Kat, I'm like, I feel like I need a break. And this is like a lot. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because we start to discover in the later episodes, we start to discover like why all this is happening to them. And it gets dark, like really dark.
Yeah, I literally had to look it up. I literally had to look it up to see what was going on because you get no explanation about the show either, because it just throws you in and you're just expected to go along for the ride as they unfold the story, which again, it's great storytelling because it kind of keeps you invested because you're like, wait a second, what's happening, all of that stuff. But yeah, no, it's definitely something that
I think it's insane too that it's probably the number 4 of, if we were talking like JJK, Attack on Titan, and Skate the Infinity are the top 3 of the winter 2021, it's probably like slot 4. So many people have enjoyed it. It's so
Which is
popular.
funny because I didn't even know until you guys were like, I'm gonna go for Wonder Egg. And I was like, sure, watch it. And then I saw it everywhere. I had not seen it
Yep.
at all. And all of a sudden it was everywhere. Oh, is it a sleeper? Is it it's like secretly really good after all? But
yeah, because that's why we decided that we needed to watch it. So like we chose to watch it because we had seen so many people actually talking about it. And it's definitely been one of those things that a person that's talking about anime and all of that stuff, like I was seeing enough people talking about it that I was like, oh yeah, we'll watch this and stuff like that. I didn't look at the warnings when I said, like, it literally, the genre says psychological horror, and I'm like, I didn't see that. And I went into it thinking, oh, this is cute, you know, because it looks cute.
It really does. She
Even
looks
for
like a cute
psychological
is cute.
horror, even for psychological horror, I still
Like, I know, I'm like, I've watched a lot of psychological
Right.
horror anime, and I've been just fine watching it. Like, you know, usually those have like a little bit of gore, and that's why they're like, oh, psychological horror. No, this is an actual true psychological horror. Like, I actually compared it to similar to like Pan's Labyrinth in a way, with how it deals with a lot of things, where that's where I got the idea that this is a magical realism piece, because, you know, that's what Pan's Labyrinth is, and it deals with really tough traumatic events in a very magical way.
True.
But yeah, no, that was definitely the anime that really kind of stood out to me this season. Another thing to also bring up is the surprise drop that we got in 2021 that nobody was expecting.
Completely random.
Kuroko no Basket got its first season dubbed in English, and I am here for it. It is amazing, and just everything about it, like, it was a surprise. Nobody knew about it, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, by the way, Kuroko's coming to Netflix. Oh, and hey, just in case you didn't know, we also dubbed it. Like,
And
they
no
dubbed
one
the
knew.
whole season. And yeah, it's just amazing. And Zeno Robinson, who is like basically our god, like Zeno Robinson, praise him because we adore him, plays Kagami Taiga, and he is perfect. And I freaking just, everybody about it, like, you guys all know who Damon Mills is, obviously, from Skate.
The love of
He
my
is
life.
also in it. Just everybody you can think of is in this show. And if you have not checked it out, it is on Netflix, the first full season.
The whole season in one
I-
day.
I know, I'm like, I've watched this show so many times, yet I was like, okay, let's watch this again. Why not? And I just, oh, it's so great.
We've
It's
never
one
heard
of
it
my-
dubbed before. It's been out for how many
Right?
years, and we've
I
never
know.
heard it dubbed. It was
Yeah.
so fun.
The anime, I believe, originally first dropped in 2012. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was
Something like that.
2012.
that sounds right.
But yeah, because it was one of my first sports anime was Kuroko. So the fact that it's come full circle, that I'm
precious.
finally watching it dubbed, and I'm just like, I've been waiting for years for a dub of this, because just more people need to get into this show, because I love it so much.
So good.
It's so good.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the surprise of 2021 for sure, because nobody was expecting it. Now, I think I have talked too much, so Keto.
Never.
That's why we're here to talk
Absolutely.
about anime as
We're
much
here
as
to
we
literally
want.
talk.
We do. Our tagline is that we talk too much. Duh.
Get used to it.
Okay. It's me, the old school who never watches anything new. I've tried. I promise. It was better with quarantine. I did a lot of 2020, and I thought I was ahead of the game. And then winter 2021 was amazing, and I was like, no, I'm behind all over again. Speaking of behind all over again, some people haven't even watched Dr. Stone season 1.
That would be all three of us, I think.
Like,
Yeah.
for once, I win. I watched
You
Dr.
win this
Stone
one.
in 2020. So the sequel, I mean, second season, of course, fell to me. But no, in fact, both of mine are just add-ons to things I've watched before. New things? Who are you? I didn't even watch the big 3 until I was told I had to. Well, I heard all about Jujutsu Kaisen, and I just put it off and put it off until it was done, which it is now. So get ready, I'll be cool. I'll know all the references. And I was told with a vengeance by these three that if I didn't watch Skate, it was over for me. So I have done that.
That is true.
And you don't regret it.
No, I'm Skate trash, 100%.
We're all Skate trash.
I'm gonna do everyone listening a favor and not say anything about how I feel about Attack on Titan, and instead talk about Dr. Stone season 2. So if you guys haven't seen the first season, this jumps in right where we took off. We've got this tense lockdown between our main character and our current main antagonist, and this follows pretty actually well with what the fans call the Stone Wars arc of the manga. So it's actually pretty good. It follows along pretty well for that. If you thought season 1 was a little boring, I know a lot of people were kind of like, I don't know how much I like this. It's very much so, the science of the show is definitely like the focal point. So you've got this boy genius. For anyone who did not catch season 1, you've got this boy genius. The entire world is frozen in stone, and he awakens thousands of years later, and he decides that he's going to wake all these people up with his ridiculously high IQ and rebuild a modern scientific society. And a lot of the episodes kind of focused on him inventing, or I guess reinventing, something new with their limited resources. And so a lot of people were like, okay, I mean, it's cool and it's nice, but, a lot of people are used to these action-packed shows. When you're staring at an AOT or what's new this all the JJKs, everybody's like, who cares about the science boy? Well, the Stone Wars definitely, I think, delivers a lot more on that aspect. So if you tried Doctor season 1 and you were like, give season 2 a try, if you didn't hate season 1, that tense war is pretty good. We've got the inventions from one side and the brute force from the other that are clashing continuously for the first half of that season. Of course, it was a shorter season. It was only 11 episodes because of COVID, but we did get slated for a season 3. So they are coming back. You don't have to worry about it. Like, was that the end? Is it over? But yeah, so I was really good. It was really solid. I did finish that just before this, actually. And then, of course, for my other secondary, Yashahime, Half Demon Princess. I told y'all I was old school, so I have to talk about the Inuyasha sequel. I'm going to be objective for this because that is the point until it's, fangirling time. But it has all of the nostalgia. If you are an Inuyasha fan, you won't be sorry if you watch this. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be perfect and you're going to love everything about it. And it's exactly but it has the same vibes. It's the same animation team. It's all the same people from the original anime. I'm pretty sure for when they did the dub, they actually kept the same voice actors and everything that could come back.
That's
they did.
awesome.
So it's it was really, really good. For all of those involved, I was really excited about it. So if you were a fan like I was of Inuyasha, it's one of my favorite anime. I watched it religiously when I was younger. I have rewatched it multiple times since. I was extremely excited for this. It actually starts off right where we leave off on the series. If you guys, and this is going to be, it's been out for decades, but Inuyasha, major spoiler, when Kagome comes back to the feudal era after 3 years of being locked in her time. It actually takes place about 3 months after that. We get a flashback. It's actually the last chapter of the Inuyasha manga, where we kind of put to rest a very long, flowing problem that kind of occurs through the series. And it gives kind of like that little hook that you could latch onto if you wanted to continue, and they definitely latched on here. So after our first episode, that's kind of like a recap of that final chapter that sets the mood for what we're going to get in the series. We get introduced to 3 lovely protagonists, the children of our main characters. So Inuyasha and Kagome, of course, have gotten married and they have a daughter. And then the main characters really follow these twins, these half-demon princesses, who are the children of Shishomaru. And when it starts, we really know nothing about their background. We know these 2 came from our main people, but we have very little else. One of Shishomaru's twins, was actually raised in the modern era by the old family. So you got to see Kagome's mother and grandfather and brother all over again, because her younger brother, who's now older, they've been gone for a few years, is actually the one who adopts one of the twins and raises her as his own. Meanwhile, in the feudal era, the other twin is raised by Sango's brother, so Kohaku. So they've been raised completely apart. And Inuyasha's daughter was raised by wolves, if you will. They all come together in this nice second episode where they all meet. They all realize kind of who they are. They're prompted with this big overreaching quest, and they go, nah, we're just gonna go find the land of dreams and figure out what's going on with this twin. Yeah, we just want to be cool and familial again. We don't really care about your overreaching plot. It's very cute. The main characters are extremely likable. So it was not an issue, I think. If you liked Inuyasha, there's not really a hard reason to dislike Yashahime. Now, do I have some personal preference issues? Absolutely. Absolutely. But y'all don't need to hear me go off on that. No, this is a safe space. I'm not saying anything. But in terms of how well this is done, it is a group of lovable kids. The cast has just the right blend of nostalgia and new. I know sometimes when you get a sequel, you're like, are we going to get too much of old or too much of new? The way they built this plot, just when you're like, where are my old people? They come in. Like, and I know that's hilarious to say it that way. But literally, as soon as you're missing the old cast to the point where you're like, how have we gotten this far without them? I just don't know. The pieces just kind of fall right into place. It's really well done, I think, for storytelling, despite the little nuances that I have issues with. No, it's a solid watch. Go for it. And again, slated for another season. So I'm not leaving you hanging or trying to get you to watch anything that's going to leave you off that without a continuation. But yeah, so that is all I've done. I know it's lame. I know I'm trying to catch up. I'm going to catch up on the rest.
It's totally valid.
This spring. I feel like everyone's watched so much more than I have. But I'm gonna be there.
Not hear my struggle. I
Listen,
started a lot.
Just make it clear that Keto's goal is to kick Spring's like butt. Like everyone's gonna be like, "Did you watch it?" I'm gonna be like, "Yes, yes, I did."
Yes, I've seen that.
Lunch break at work is just gonna be me hoarding things and not me just following my nostalgic needs. But yeah, so that was us. That was what we've watched this season, which is pretty cool. Everyone's kind of done their own thing. We've all kind of, intermingled and watched some of the same things. And we were pretty impressed by a lot of it. But some of the stuff we weren't really impressed with. It was, it didn't sit as well. We wish it could have been a little better. But I will, and on to that note, I will let Kenzie and Shay entertain you with their opinions.
Kenzie,
go
you
right
can
on
take
ahead.
this one. You can take this one.
I've been waiting, guys. I've been waiting. Just get out my emotion. I've been waiting for this one, y'all. All right. We'll start with Wave.
This hurts my soul.
It really hurts my soul. Spoilers, I think, because we're going to talk about the thing.
Huge spoilers, because the thing happened, and anyone who's watched Wave or kept up with it, in fact, knows that this happened. And anybody who listens to this probably doesn't care about Wave if you didn't already watch Wave.
Half an episode.
Because of
half an episode. That's all I gave it. Half an episode.
I give you props for that.
Honestly,
I think we got 4 or 5 in and we dropped it at the same time just because.
I'm so terribly sad about it because I saw the trailer back in spring 2020 and I was like, oh yeah, surfing anime? Yes, please. And then they were like, okay, it's been postponed until October 2020, and then it got postponed again, and then all of a sudden it dropped with the winter season, which we kind of had a little bit of warning about, but no warning at all. And I was so hyped for this because I saw the character designs and I was like, those boys are fine.
They're beautiful. And then you find out they're in middle school.
Yeah.
No one looked like that in middle school. Let me just tell you.
I'm so glad all of you watched this for me because I was like surfing and you guys were like middle school. And I was like, no, over.
But anyways, Kenzie, carry on about our disappointment.
So the first, I really tried to be like, I'm just going to give it time. I bet it's going to, because this is an anime only. It did not come from a manga. It was not something I could read ahead and see where the story was going. And that was a thing that I was having trouble with. I had no idea where the story was going. We were 2 episodes in and I was like, what is the purpose? Where are we going here? I also really didn't I'm a really bit of a snob when it comes to animation. They use the CG. They have this beautiful scenery of the waves and these people are surfing, and then it looks like a little video game character just bobbing back and forth while
I laughed so hard because that's the first 2 minutes of the
entire
of the
first 2
anime.
minutes.
And I'm just like, what am I watching? I was like, please get better, please get better, please get better. And it didn't get better. And I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna watch this anymore.
And this season, we've had proof that CG can work. And I mean, God bless Studio Mappa. We all praise Studio Mappa.
We bow
Mappa's
down.
been doing the most. So like with Attack on Titan, a lot of people have been talking about how much they've been using CG this season, but I think it's worked. Whereas Wave,
Yeah.
it did not work.
The
Sorry.
two styles were adding up, and it bothered the heck out of me. And then this
thing.
happy anime that was supposed to just give me feel good vibes goes in one episode and kills a main character.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know anything about Wave. What?
So
My favorite character, by the way.
Here's
sorry,
the
let me
plot of what we knew from like episode 1 was there's this cute little boy and he watches everybody surf because he grew up on the beach and he wants to do it too. And he finds these two friends because like a new kid moves to his school and he's a really good surfer and he's really inspired by him. So they all start surfing together. Well, this new kid goes and, well, it's unclear exactly his intentions or why, but there's a huge storm and all you see is his surfboard come up from the water. And then the next episode, there's a time skip and they talk about him being gone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about all the closure you get.
Oh my god, are you kidding? Like, huh?
Yeah.
So the other, like the ironic thing that they tried to throw in there was the main character. They call him Corgi, the one who wanted to start surfing, and he's adorable. He's also an idiot, but he's adorable. And he was all excited to start surfing, and he tries to get better and better, and he goes out in a storm and almost drowns. So his foreign friend, is he from Japan? I feel like
I think he's just from a different prefecture.
I'm getting skate mixed up now. All right. So
not everyone is Canadian.
Not everyone's Canadian. All right. The exchange student, he comes in and saves his life. And he's like, you're never doing that again. You can't. He gets really angry. Never seen Show angry before. And then 2 episodes later, he gets some mysterious text message. And you can
from
clearly
his family
see
or something.
He's not okay. Yeah. You can clearly see he's not okay. We know nothing about his family besides his brother was a surfer. And that he like drops hints of like, I can't do whatever I want kind of thing. And then Corgi and Tanaka are both like, something's not right. And he's like, it'll be fine. Like everything will be fine. And as they're all crossing the street in this really dramatic moment, I'm sitting there going, no, everything's not going to be fine. They wouldn't do this though. They wouldn't do that. And then the end of the episode is this kid's board and Corgi's the one who finds the board. Corgi's the one who runs out and sees the board. And then the next episode, everyone's really sad for about half the episode. And then magically everyone comes together and surfs and suddenly we're all happy again. And I had no closure. I had emotional whiplash. I was so upset. And Sho was my favorite character. Like he was the one who was holding me together. And then that happened. I think I watched one more episode and I will finish it because I want to see where they go. But I'm just not happy with it at all. I can't believe they did that.
I've quit a show for less.
I know.
I think I made it to episode 5 before I dropped.
I think I did too.
And I will probably do the same thing, Kenzie. And well, it's a sports anime, so I almost have to.
But for the record.
Yeah.
A great goal.
Still a great goal. On the record. But I'll definitely like binge it all at once. I think it might be finished by now.
It should be.
But I think eventually like Sho's brother shows up and stuff like that. But we've heard from other people who have been watching Wave that it's not something to write home about.
Yes, I got my friend to watch it with me. I was like, you really need to start all these winter season anime with me. So he did. No. And he's still watching Wave just out of pure spite. He keeps texting me being like, you need to watch Wave again so I can get angry. And I was like, go ahead, spoil everything for me. So yes, the brother does show up and apparently he's a jerk. So big shocker there, but he's pretty. So that's good.
I mean, pretty and jerk. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
For anime, always. But yeah, so that's basically the saga of Wave for at least me and Kenzie. If anyone out there likes Wave and can convince us that, you know, to binge the rest of it and change our minds about it, feel free.
Yeah, hit us up on Instagram. We could do that.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm staring at this picture, this this poster, and I'm still really trying to work out middle school.
Right.
Oh my goodness, what did they do?
Do you end up in high school?
I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't
the
care.
time skip puts them in high school. But anyways, so y'all, I am so sad about other than skate, I'm sad about the sports anime this season. And then Kenzie watched Gymnastics Samurai for like 0.5 seconds and
30 seconds.
Okay, what happened in a whole 30 seconds that was like, no?
This guy gets on the uneven bars. He does a couple spins and then he face plants. And the CGI, like that's not what would do it. I originally would be like, we're gonna have an underdog thing. No, the CGI again, he just looks so out of place. It bothered me so much. You need to mix the two together.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna binge it all just so it's for the list. It's for the sports anime. But also I heard from like some really big anime TikTokers like that it's actually really good.
I love gymnastics, so
I love gymnastics too.
So
maybe
speaking of gymnastics, which studio is giving us another gymnastics anime? I'll have to look it up. But there's
I just saw that.
Another one
that's coming out.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So, and it looks a lot more intense than Gymnastics Samurai did from the trailers. But along the lines of disappointing sports anime of winter 2021, we have 2.43 Saiyan High School volleyball team. And Kat, Kenzie, and I all started watching this because we all have an undeniable love for Haikyuu.
I would like to be included in the
Keto also has an undeniable love for and a lot of people I know were watching this just because they're fans of Haikyuu, and we all told ourselves to not try to compare it to Haikyuu because it is not Haikyuu, obviously. Later on, we did figure out that this was a light novel. Mark? Okay, so it's not an original by any means, but we have Discount Suki as one of the main characters, and then we have
the main setter,
and then we have Discount Kageyama as another one of the main characters. And it was just really hard they set themselves up for failure with that character design because everybody said, oh, it's Suki and Kageyama.
Basically.
But I was vibing with the first episode. I definitely it got a lot really intense and emotional. And then when Kat told me that it was a light novel, I was like, oh, that makes it.
Yeah.
It's definitely not happy-go-lucky Haikyuu underdog story. If you don't know what it's about these two friends who were childhood friends and they grew apart and then they ended up at the same middle school and then went to high school together on the volleyball team, and it's another setter wing spiker duo. So same as Haikyuu.
Basically.
Although Hinata is technically a middle blocker.
A middle blocker.
We know what he wants to do.
Technicalities, it's another
technicalities, yes.
It's another setter and his friend that battle at the net with other people. But it got really boring for me, and also they had how many time skips in the first 3 episodes?
Too many.
3, I think.
3, there was 3 time skips, and it was too many. I was so confused. Literally, I was texting Shay and Kenzie the entire time. What
just happened?
Do you know what's happening? I am so confused. What's happening? And I kept watching. I think I got 5 episodes into the show before I was I need to just stop and just go back and rewatch this all in one go, because I waiting week per week, and then all of a sudden you're getting all of these time skips as well. I was just what is happening? I'm so confused. And they didn't 100% give you the full story of everything, because they wanted to play it out, because that's how drama pieces go, is you want everything to unfold and play out. They want you to be hooked, and I was just confused. I wasn't hooked. I was confused, and I didn't want to watch it. And I really wanted to watch it because the opening credit of the show is one of my favorite opening credits of the winter season, because it is
good.
a beautiful, beautiful opening credit sequence, as well as a beautiful opening credit song. But I had to drop it after 5 episodes because I was just I can't. I will go back and watch it because I want to know if I would actually like it, because I did like parts of it, and I don't know. It was just difficult.
So yeah.
The time skips didn't bother me that much. I will say that I have dubbed this the fanfic version of Haikyuu because the amount these boys look at each other and blush,
Yes.
where's the lie though?
It was a light novel, so
Exactly. Like the amount these boys just look at each other and immediately are like all red in the face blushing. The amount of times people have gotten sick and hurt in the first, like I've only watched 5 episodes and everyone's injured or has passed out. They've been in the hospital. What is going on? Also, you have to watch the end credit scene to know like all the action happens in those like last 2 minutes.
that's what
Everything.
I wasn't watching those, and then you were like, "You need to watch those," because I thought they were just previews for the next episode, and you were like, "No, you need to watch those, and then maybe you'll understand the time skips a little better." And I did watch them, and I still didn't understand the.
I know I didn't understand them either, and I was like,
I just also know that if you did skip those, you'd be very confused because it sets up the
100%.
next episode and all the action happens in them. Like they will go like very, very slow, and then it's like 2 minutes. We gotta put everything in here. But yes, that's 2.43.
2.43.
All right,
What a fun
so
one.
there's another one that all of us has watched from the 2021 season, and there have been mixed reviews online from everybody, and I don't know how we haven't talked in depth because Kenzie hadn't watched it yet, so
We
trying to
haven't.
We
so
haven't.
we were trying to hold back so we didn't have any spoilers for you, Kenzie. But it was the Given movie, and I liked it. I don't know how everybody else felt about it. I know some people were upset that it didn't focus on our main 2 baby boys. But you know, as a quote unquote millennial fan, I did appreciate that it was about a more mature relationship and had a lot of flaws and stuff that, you know, I've personally gone through, you know, and it was super relatable. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was the big controversy, I'll say. I think everyone expected it to be about, you know, the adults for the easier, you know, just to make the clear, definitive, you know, our first season that we got that was beautiful and emotional and lovely. That was just the right amount of deep and romantic. You know, everyone fell in love with Given, but they are, you know, high schoolers. So it is a clear division of a totally, I would say even tone, just different, but in a mature kind of way. I enjoyed the Given movie. I did myself.
I did too.
I definitely did one of those, like, I'm going to predict what's going to happen based on this typical plots that we've had so far. I was pretty good. I was like 75% correct. But I thought it was well made, but all of the criticism I've seen online has followed that. They didn't quite like the way that mature romance played out, especially after we got kind of such a, not only to say a lighter note, but like a different kind of resolution than we had in that first one.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think a lot of the like shock of the mature way that they handled a lot of the relationship between the 2 adults would like, and this is a case of manga readers went into this knowing what happened, because I unexpectedly got a volume of Given for free. It was really random, and it actually was the volume that took place over the course of the movie. So manga readers were already aware of a lot of the stuff. So I think people were very confused about the content, because there is that, you know, that one scene that could potentially be controversial. There we go. Controversial. Can't speak. That a lot of people were, you know, questioning, as well as the whole, you know, kind of like leading on to different people, and, you know, just a lot of the relationships and stuff like that, and just you know, going off of all of that is what I was seeing as people,
For sure,
you know, saying that they didn't like it. I personally loved it. I binge watched the movie at like 2:00 in the morning after it dropped on Crunchyroll, and I was like crying, like watching it. And I was just
I
like,
definitely cried.
I was like, has any, like, nobody's awake right now to enjoy this with me.
But yeah, I agree. So Given the movie, we forgive it, you know, thumbs up.
Yeah.
But
Thumbs up.
You recently watched it. What'd you think?
I did. I actually watched it today. Fun fact. I had homework and I had to get it done. I loved it. I, again, like as an older fan, like I liked the more mature relationship. I can see why people like were expecting more of our little young love, but we got them hugging when he was nervous.
So cute.
That was
Very
the most
cute.
precious moment. He was just like, "Come here," and Mafia was like, "I got you." It was so cute. But so they did try to give you like those little moments, and like the ending song was beautiful. Of course, that's when I get teary eyed anytime that angel boy opens his mouth. I'm like, okay, everything's gonna be okay. I really liked how they handled it, and I thought it was really well done.
So, I was going to say, so all three of you have watched Horimiya, right? I have not.
I dropped it.
I did drop it.
I am still watching it. I haven't watched
So,
it.
okay, so Kat, since you are still watching
I was
it,
gonna say,
just give us a little blurb on Horimiya real quick.
Okay, so Horimiya is, a typical high school romance anime about, a boy and a girl. They, meet, fall in love, all of that fun stuff, with a little bit of a twist because of the fact that the male character is more of the shy, meek character that you usually will see in the female protagonist, and the female character is more of the like strong-headed, like bully, quote unquote bully kind of, where a lot of times you'll see her like pushing him into doing stuff that he normally wouldn't do, and he lets her and all that stuff because he's like, okay, yeah, no, it makes her happy, all of that stuff. So there is that whole aspect of that relationship, and the kinks. They're kinks.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Legitimately, there's an entire scene where he's like, I'm not trying to kink shame her, but because like legitimately she likes him to beat her. Like he wants her to hit him, like just hitting.
She wants to be degraded.
Basically, yeah. She has a degradation
kink. Yes.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Now the saving light of the entire thing is the dub with, again, our god Zeno Robinson.
I'm not ashamed to say that. Zeno Robinson can save anything. Just throw him out.
He is Toru in the show, and I'm still watching the show, and I still really like it, but that's because I actually read the manga. I need to pick it back up because it actually just recently finished, so I need to pick it back up again. But I am watching it for nostalgia purposes because it was one of my favorite manga series to read.
And I think that's kind of the energy that I got from it, from just everyone in general.
Yeah.
If you were a manga fan, holy crap, it's Horimiya, and you were super excited to run it. Mm-hmm. But for somebody kind of just walking blind into it, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that the opening credit and the end credit are just I really wish that they had done something different instead of following the romance anime trope of having a really like a bland opening credit, and and not like there's a lot of people that actually enjoy it, but I personally didn't enjoy the opening credit, and to me an opening credit is really important for a show.
We can't all be kiss kiss fall in love.
That is true. That is way true.
Set the bar too high for all
it's true.
romance
all
shoujo.
romance
Set the bar too high.
Yeah, no, so definitely it's one that I've actually kept watching, and a lot of people have said that they have dropped it because they couldn't get into it, and I don't blame them because again, I have to be like a hardcore romance anime fan to sit through,
for sure.
Or two, nostalgia purposes and enjoying the fact that they finally have animated this lovely manga series, which I do recommend reading the manga series. It is easier to digest than watching it animated. And then let's talk about our last fun one of the season, Miss Shay, The Promised Neverland.
All I'll say about this one is I don't even know what I can say.
Go ahead, come on, run it.
It finished this week, and I am going to formally request on air to you guys that I get a filler episode where I can talk about all of The Promised Neverland season 2, because and I might bring a couple people on because you guys haven't watched it.
I got you. I will watch
all of it
just to finish this. I know what happens. I went in, just so we know, I did the bad anime thing where I just read what happened, and I'm with you 100%. Go ahead.
As a manga reader, we'll just say it happened. We'll just say The Promised Neverland season 2 happened. It's over. There is no more The Promised Neverland new media to consume anymore. There's no season 3 because that ending was pretty definitive. Like, what would they even make a season 3 out of? But as a manga reader, they could have had 5 good seasons out of it.
Yeah.
But everybody just likes money and they like pushing those manga sales. But now that the manga is
Mhm.
over, they can't push those sales anymore.
That's
So they're
exactly
like,
what happened.
I mean,
let's-
I get
so
that,
I'm
but
pretty sure that's what
still.
happened. But anyways, my full opinion on The Promised Neverland season 2 to come at a later date, you guys, because I have too many
We'll
words
put a
for
pin
it.
in that.
We'll put a pin in this. But we don't want to. We don't want to end on a bad note. So we're going to talk about what we're looking forward to for
Let's go.
spring 2021 because this
Woo!
lineup is just as stacked, if not more, than winter was. So, Kenzie, I'll let you go first. What are you excited for? I think we're excited for a lot of the same things.
I think we all can say it. What are we most excited for this spring?
My
Hero
Hero
Academia.
I don't want to hear it from any of you. It's a good anime. I don't want to hear it from anybody.
Yeah, I don't want
You're
to
not
hear
gonna
it
hear it
because
from
it is
any of
hyped
us.
because it is good.
Yes, it's
hyped
hype,
because
and
it
you
is
don't
good.
have to like it, but like, don't pretend. Don't pretend.
But this
Okay.
is we stand MHA.
But
Indeed.
the
other
first
than that,
episode.
because that one's an obvious one, Kenzie, what are you excited for?
Fruits Basket season 3. I'm super
Yes.
excited for
And it's
that.
the final season,
Right?
right?
It's the final season, and I'm a manga reader, so I'm really excited to see this animated.
Me too. Me too.
I
I'm
heard
with you.
Moriarty the Patriot is
Yes!
getting a season 2.
I'm so
Okay, I have to
excited
do
for
one.
this.
I
Oh,
have to do
man.
one. I've heard a lot of hype. I have
You
to
guys,
know.
if
how
you
good.
like
We have
Sherlock
it
at
next.
all,
Oh, okay. I have to watch
like
it. then I have
any
to.
Sherlock
Mhm.
Holmes media ever, and you like anime, you got to watch this anime. Moriarty the Patriot is chef's kiss.
I need to binge it so I can actually keep up on season 2. I
It's
need
a really
to.
easy binge.
Amazing.
It is a very easy
It's easy,
binge.
yeah. But what are you guys excited for besides?
So one thing that I'm excited for, and I don't know if a lot of people are as hype as I am about this. I'm excited for Eden's Zero, which is a anime by the same author of Fairy Tale, and it's kind of
Ooh.
a space fantasy. There's a lot of like crossover in a lot of his series. He has a lot of crossover, so there is a lot of crossover, so I can see why there's not a lot of hype because there's never been a lot of hype for Fairy Tale. But I feel like a lot of people have said that Eden Zero is what they call his redemption of Fairy Tale, because a lot of people that didn't like Fairy Tale seem to like Eden Zero better. So I'm definitely going to give that a watch and, enjoy it because I have read not all of the manga series, but I have read most of the manga series. So I'm definitely looking forward to Eden Zero, probably the third or fourth most out of all of the shows that are coming out in spring 2021.
Shay, what about you?
For me, it's literally coming out in like a week and a half. It's The Way of the House Husband, y'all. You're gonna love
I'm
it.
excited for that.
If
I am
y'all
excited
do
for that.
not know what this is about, it's about a former Yakuza boss that has given up that life and has decided to just be a house husband. And it's literally, if you've never read the manga, it's literally the most hilarious thing. It could be like a Sunday morning cartoon in a new newspaper because it's very short and quippy. But it's just like people mistaking him as a Yakuza boss because he was one. And it like sometimes there'll be like somebody will walk in the house and he has like a bloody knife and they're like, and he's like, what? I was just like making food. Like there's a lot of stuff like that. And it's coming on Netflix. I believe it's going to be a Netflix original, quote unquote, like original. So it will be highly accessible to everyone, and I am very excited for it. Another one, I just binged My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, season 1. So I'm excited to hear that season 2 is coming quickly. I don't usually like any of that kind of stuff, but it's about a girl who like well, she like dies in real life and then is reborn into an Otome game, but as the villainess instead.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
That
So-
sounds
Love
really
that.
fun. I feel that's not a webtoon, is it?
No, it's a
Sounds
manga.
really-
I have
okay.
volume 1 over here,
I'd
but
like to check that one out.
I don't usually like isekai, but this is one I could get behind. And as the villainess, she's trying to make sure that she does not fall into any of the doom like endings that happen for her as the villainess. And then Demon Slayer Mugen Train is coming out.
Yes.
If we count that in the spring 2021 season, I am very excited for that. And then a release date TBD, but we were heard around spring 2021 for the Violet Evergarden movie.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
y'all.
No, definitely for sure.
So I'm
And
excited
then
for all of those.
another fun one that nobody was anticipating being dropped is a new OVA series for Hitalia.
Yes, I think that's summer. I think it's the summer, but I'm so excited. Like, yes, bring it back. Bring
Yeah,
it back.
I know, because I've seen different variations on when it's coming out. It's they've said spring, but they've also said summer, and so I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna drop like one in spring and one in summer, but Hitalia has been around forever, and I'm like, how are they still getting more content?
Also,
I love them.
there are a couple more that like didn't drop with the like release like lists that we've been looking at, but Mappa continues to feed us and is going to feed us a water polo anime. You guys
I did see that, and then
We
the
know.
I'm so psyched.
don't know what it's about, haven't seen a trailer, but we know it's Mappa and we know there's going to be beautiful animation, and
I saw a
the
poster.
character design of the main character looks beautiful. I'm very
Mhm.
excited for another sports anime, and Mappa's doing it, so it's
Yeah.
gonna look great.
Anything Mappa, we're like,
Somebody
we're-
needs to give all of those animators a raise.
A
They like
raise.
A big raise.
They do their job better than my
Ooh.
gosh. But no,
Everyone
sure.
say thank you to Mappa. Like,
Thank
I
you,
don't want
Mappa.
thank you, Mappa. This is
Thank you,
us
Mappa.
giving our thanks to our Lord Mappa. Okay. But I know they have the new rhythmic gymnastics one.
Yes, that's
I
the
think this
gymnastics one
season,
I was
that
talking
we
about
were
earlier.
talking about earlier. So I'm excited to see how
Mhm.
that one goes, because that'll be fun. And of course, because I have to own my title as the old school, they're rebooting Shaman King.
Oh my god, I know. I
What?
saw that. I saw the
Yeah.
trailer. I
I
saw
was
the
like,
trailer for
what?
that. Oh my
So yeah,
god.
Shaman King in I think it's April 1st actually it comes out. So like keep your eyes open, y'all. I'm so excited about that one. So I will definitely be watching that as it goes. But yeah, spring 21.
That's what we're excited for. Kat, what are we talking about next week?
Dude, next time on Shi Anime.
What are we talking about, Kat? Tell them.
So next week. Yes, next week.
What is time?
I know. I'm like, what is time? Time is infinite, you would say. And so next week, we are talking about Skate the Infinity, and prepare yourselves because it is going to be a hype episode, because we are all Skate trash.
Trash,
We
absolutely.
Skate
love
brain rot
trash.
till I die.
I
Find
know.
us a dumpster
Honestly.
that we can live in for infinity. I'm not.
Infinity.
Infinity.
We just, yes.
May or may not have a
100%.
skateboard in my Amazon cart. Let's see what happens.
Go to a,
Raise
please,
a-
please
raise
go to
a
a
hand.
skate shop. You're gonna injure yourself. Go to a skate shop, please.
I like how you're being nice. Like I don't also have a skateboard in my Amazon cart. I guess we should go to a skate shop anyway.
Find a skate shop. I'm
Just
from
plan
a
a-
small town.
Plan
I
a
don't think
plan a
we have
group
any.
trip. We'll just plan a group trip, and it'll be our our big group trip. Like, first time meeting, we'll just go to a skate shop.
We gotta wait until we gotta wait until Zoomies, because Zoomies has a partnership with like Hunter x Hunter and stuff like that. We gotta wait until they have a partnership with Skate, because they're going to eventually, and then you can buy like Longa and Recky's decks. We gotta like
That's what
wait
we'll
for
do.
that. That's what we need to
I
wait
want
for.
Carla. I want Carla.
Carla, yes.
Anyways,
But
so
get hyped, everybody. It's gonna happen.
this has been an extremely long episode, but it's our first episode, so you had to get to know us a little. But to get to know us even better, we're all on social media. I am Shay, cosplay _ Shay on both Instagram and TikTok, and that's about all I do as far as like anime content goes. And Kenzie, what are yours?
For Instagram, I'm at Kenzi, Kenzi cosplay. And then for TikTok, I'm at Kenzi, Kenzi _cosplay.
And then what about you,
Keto.
Kat?
So you can actually find me on basically any social media. I am there. On Twitter, you can find me at cat_vamp1929. Cat is spelled with a K. On Instagram, you can find me at vamp1929_art and talk being spelled TOK because of TikTok. And then you can find me on TikTok at vamp1929.
Perfect. And what about you, Keto?
Of course, I am the key to happiness. That is the key, Ki, to happiness. You can catch me on Twitter and TikTok with that handle. I'm pretty low key with posting, but I'm always looking.
And then you can find this podcast on our brand new Instagram with the same name as our podcast. So that's Shi Anime. Is it, Kat, is it just Shi Anime or is it Shi Anime Podcast?
So it is Shi Anime Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And you can find us on both of those. And we will be posting as regularly as we possibly can, keeping you updated on what is to come and maybe even some behind the scenes kinds of looks at what we do and all of that fun stuff. So Shi Anime Podcast, that is SHI Anime Podcast.
Awesome.
And if you liked this episode, make sure to share it with your friends.
Yes.
And give us some reviews because we would always appreciate feedback. But anyways, I would like to thank my 3 lovely co-hosts for being here today. And I would thank you listeners for joining us this week on She Anime. And we're excited to go on this new journey with all of you because podcasting is very new to all of us, but we love to talk about anime and we love to talk with each other about it. So we hope you tune in next week to talk about our favorite skating best boys.
Woo!
So until then, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.